All right, so today is going to be one of those impromptu live streams. Uh, hmm, we're going to be looking at the hidden footage. Now, I have a ton of these videos from the past where Donald Trump was interviewed, and it's amazing that they didn't feature when mainstream media was doing hit pieces on Donald Trump back in 2016, when they desperately wanted the world to believe that he was racist, that he was a misogynist, that he was all these things. Is Donald Trump perfect? No, he's not. But it's one thing to uncover something about someone that has always, existed, and it's another thing to just make stuff up. And it just feels like the mainstream media spent so long trying to smear Donald Trump in order to keep him out of the White House. And it's amazing that when you go back and do your own research and you find these videos of Donald Trump, like the one we're about to play. This is a video from 1998 where he attended the Rainbow Push Coalition, which was hosted by the Reverend Jesse Jackson, the leader of the civil rights movement. Of course, after Martin Luther King was assassinated, a bunch of them kind of ripped apart chunks of the civil rights movement, which they basically ran off with and used as their own personal grift machines. And Jesse Jackson was at the front of that charge, and he set up the Rainbow Push Coalition, which was meant to be a forum for minority businesses and executives and so on. And guess who's in attendance for several of these events? Donald Trump. So we're going to play this video and you're going to watch and make up your own mind about what you think the mainstream media's aim was to paint Donald Trump as a grifter, as a racist, as a misogynist. Hello, Williams. Thanks for watching. Let me know where you're watching from. And then while the video is going on, feel free to share your thoughts and your opinions on what we're watching, because once you see the hypocrisy coming from the media and some of the lies that are being told, you get to ask yourself the question, what other lies are they telling us? What other lies do they desperately want us to believe that's happening in real time today? And that should inspire you to push forward and figure stuff out for yourself. So I'm going to play this video and we're going to continue. North Carolina. Amazing. Good to have you. I hope you hang around. This is an impromptu emergency live stream. I usually live stream on Mondays to Fridays at 12 noon Eastern. But today I felt like I should spend time with my crowd, and I hope you enjoy this live stream. So I'm going to play this video. I have a lot of them in my hard drive, and one of the moderators asked me to pull out these videos and share them with everyone. So I'm going to be doing that, in the days to come. During the live streams, I'm going to unpack these videos and we're going to experience them together. So I hope you enjoy this. So let's dive in. And let me know how the audio is. If the audio is too loud, too soft on my voice or the video, just let me know. All right, so here it is. No audio. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm going to figure out why this is happening. 1 second. That's crazy. No audio. All right. Thanks for letting me know. All right, I'm going to figure this out. 1 second. Let me figure this out. And we'll go back. Let's see. Okay. You know, I tested this before we started. You know, I tested it. It worked. Oh, I see why. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I know why now. Oh, sorry. I messed up. Okay, I'm going to start again. It's all my fault. Okay, we're going to start again. Okay, let's go.
Donald, you are the largest
Is that good?
builder on the lower end of Manhattan. And for that, you are respected. Deal maker, comeback artist, you know how to put packages together. But there's no development on the uptown side of the same island between the same two rivers connected by the same bridges. And the fundamental question is, what are the impediments? And what incentives are required to expand the development? Or to put it another way, if one were flying 10 miles high looking down, and you saw a vast area of green, call it the downtown side of the Central Park, and the vast area of brown, but the brown or scorched area was not sand, it was topsoil. Logically, you would figure out a way to irrigate, to extend the green, because if the brown is not irrigated, when it's parched and the wind blows, it will encroach upon the green. So we have to extend the green. But so far, we've chosen to build walls between the green and the brown rather than to extend it. So in the context of this family of friends who in a real sense are looking for how to make an urban development policy real, and you are a premier developer, what impediments are there between you and developing on the other side of Central Park, and what incentives would you require to make that happen?
Well, thank you, Jesse. First of all, it's a great honor to be here with you tonight. I think maybe before we discuss impediments, I do want to say this, and I think this is very positive. It really is happening uptown. It's starting to happen. Percy, who's been a friend of mine for a long time, has done such an incredible job, both physically with money and also psychologically on.
And that's a black businessman.
And I just want to thank Percy because he was borough president.
Look at that, a black businessman. So that's the racist.
He was borough president when I was doing the Commodore Hotel, and I couldn't have done it without him. And he's just a great guy, and I love to see you, Percy. You look better than you did 20 years ago, I have to tell you. So you're doing something right. But it is happening in Uptown. And I have friends that, in this particular case, one white, looking for property in Harlem, wants to develop property in Harlem. And this is something that wasn't happening 3 years ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago. It just wasn't happening. And, you know, sadly, one of the reasons is that it's very, very difficult to get land in other locations of Manhattan. And that's a sad reason to necessarily be going to other locations.
You said land is an impediment on the uptown side of the
well,
side.
No, land is very hard to get anywhere in Manhattan right now. And people are going to Harlem because they really see it as a new place to invest. I'm talking about the real estate developers and some very good ones in New York. And I think you're going to see a big renaissance. I think you're already seeing it. And it really was led to a large extent with what some of the work that Percy and others have done. But I think you're going to see a renaissance, and it has begun, but it's continuing in Harlem and in the uptown, as you call it.
The reason I press this case is that in spite of the accolades that Percy Sutton deserves after being borough president 12 years, he had to go to 63 banks to borrow the money to buy WLIB. This question of capital. John Johnson said to me 2 days ago, the esteemed publisher of Johnson Publishing Company, For 20 years, he could not borrow any money. He had to use subscriptions to sustain the financing. So a fundamental question, while there may be some purses here and there, what is needed to break the impeding forces to pursue greenlining the red line zone on the uptown side of Central Park?
Well, I just want to preface the 63 banks. I mean, I wouldn't say the banks are exactly in love with me after what I did to those suckers. I mean, you know. So, Percy, I think that you're probably doing better. I think I might have had to go to more than 63 banks. There are things that can be done, and some are being done, I don't think to the same extent. If you look, you know, I have an honor of having Jesse at 40 Wall Street. We call it the Trump Building at 40. This is now a 72-story building right on Wall Street, right opposite the New York Stock Exchange. And he's a very tough negotiator when it came to rent. I want to tell you that. This man is definitely setting a new standard for paying low rent. But it's an honor. This is the toughest negotiator I've ever had.
It's called mixed rent.
That's right. I said, come on, Jess, you got to give me something. He said, nothing. I said, all right, what the hell? So he's tough. But the fact is that building was built with incentives, because the downtown, as we call it, the downtown market in Lower Manhattan has been given massive tax incentives for regrowth and rebirth, and it's really paid off. I mean, tremendous amounts of construction are taking place. I think that one of the things that you could do is go to the city and ask, and I really think it's important, ask for massive tax abatements for things that would be built in certain sections where you'd most like to see developed. And I will tell you that residential abatements and commercial abatements have a tremendous impact on construction. And